In today's video, we're going to check out the brand new Realme 15 Pro. This device is featuring a dual 50 megapixel camera system in the back and a main 50 megapixel camera on the front. We have a large 144 Hz display. We have the 7 Gen 4 processor powering this device, on top of the fact that we have a 7,000 milliampere battery with 80 watts super fast charging. This is the Realme 15 Pro. Let's check it out and see what makes it so special. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. So I have the device for us right here on the side, Realme 15 Pro 5G. Of course, this is a 5G device. Some of the main characteristics that we talked about. Again, the 7 Gen 4 is powering this device. We have 50 megapixel main sensor, 50 megapixel selfie, and of course an ultra wide here. We have the 144 4D curved display, which means we have 4 curves around the actual display. Beautiful design. And of course, a 7,000 milliampere battery that is going to be powered by the 80 watt wire charger that is included in the box. Along the side with a nice beautiful case here that gives us a nice little kind of a mirror effect here, or glass effect. We have a wire charger. This is a European style charger, USB-A, and of course USB-A to USB-C cable to provide us the ability of charging the 80 watts. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it's actually sitting on the actual charger itself. 80 watts SuperVOOC charging. The display that we have in here is a 6.8 inch display. So it's a beautiful large display. 4D curved, meaning it's curved on the sides, on all 4 sides, which means anytime your finger is sliding a side on it, it's not going to go into a flat edge. So this device does not have a flat display, but it's beautifully designed, and you can definitely see here that it is curved on all sizes. And of course, we have the IR blaster, the microphone on the top. 6.8 inch display up to 144 Hertz. And of course, an in-display fingerprint sensor, beautiful customization, unlocking our device. We have pre-installed Google Play services, of course, access to the app drawer, and of course we have the dual sliding option here that's built in now to the Realme UI. Of course, having the Snapdragon 7 Gen 4 7,000 milliampere battery, 12 gigs of RAM, expandable with an additional RAM system from the internal memory. The camera stack that we have in here is a triple 50 megapixel camera system. A main 50 megapixel with a 50 megapixel ultra wide and a 50 megapixel front facing camera. We have the performance booster for the turbo engine here, the Trinity engine that we have. Display is 6.8 inches, and again the model number is RMX 5101. Currently is running the latest version, which is Realme UI 6.0 on top of Android 15. The design on the back looks actually very, very nice. Although it is going to be not necessarily a liquid finish, it definitely has that design look. The dual cameras that we have in here are again 50 duals, main and ultra wide. The third one is not an actual sensor. We have a dual tone LED flash, of course. On the left side, pretty much clean slate. On the right side, we have the volume rocker and the power button. The fingerprint sensor is inside of the display. Bottom fire speaker, USB-C, microphone, and of course the dual SIM tray capable of supporting 5G. And on the top, pretty much a straight clean experience again with the IR blaster and an additional microphone. Now regarding the Geekbench score directly here for the 7 Gen 4, it's 1235 and 3597 here for the multi-core. Again, this is a mid-range processor, so the 7 Gen 4 is technically considered to be the best version of the 7 Gen processor that Qualcomm makes, and this one is what's powering us here. We have a little nice side dock here, what we've seen in the past. Of course, when we're talking about speed connection, now when it comes down to speed and connectivity, first and foremost, I did test it out on T-Mobile here in the LA area, and I was not able to connect to 5G. The best I was able to get was 4G LTE and 60 down and 14 up, or you can actually kind of see here, it kind of fluctuates here between 33 down and almost 30 up here. So depending on the area I was in, and I ran this at different times. So I would probably say overall, the connection's not going to be the best, or it's not going to be the fastest, but it will work in the US, and you are going to be able to pick up a signal, especially if you're using it on T-Mobile. The camera stack that we have in here is primarily a main sensor and an ultra wide, which means we can jump into an ultra wide and a main sensor. Video capabilities are actually very nicely mirrored across the camera stack that we have. Now, as you can see here, when we go into the system, we are able to shoot 4K 60 frames per second on the main sensor, as well the ultra wide, as well as the ability of using it on the main front-facing camera. That's because they're triple 50 megapixel cameras, and that's going to be a mirrored experience. We have AI landscape, a portrait mode, and of course additional modes that are built in here in case you want to pause and take a quick picture in here. So we're going to start off with the front-facing camera, and having triple 50 megapixel cameras and the ability of shooting 4K 60 on all of them is actually very nice. The dual cameras on the back are obviously going to be the ultra wide and the main sensor. I still feel like the processing is always going to be a little bit better on the main sensors on the back, but front-facing camera here, 4K 60, walking, beautiful day. Of course, let's go ahead and switch over to the other one. We're using the primary sensor, and the nice thing is that the ultra wide also supports 4K 60 frames per second, and that's going to give you again some of the best experiences on this device. There's no 8K, but that's primarily, again, we're looking at the 7 Gen 4. This is a mid-range type of a processor, and this is going to be the best that Qualcomm offers in this category. The next step obviously would be 8 series or the 8 Elite or the 8S Gen 4 type of an experience. But I feel like it's a well-balanced experience here. We have a 7,000 milliampere battery that should be able to last you for days. I mean, 7,000 we're talking about. And of course, great cameras, great UI, and a lot of AI functionalities added in here. And that should give you an understanding, or at least a general understanding, of how the cameras are going to perform on this device. We're going to be checking out those pictures and videos in just a little bit, but let's go ahead and talk real quick about the actual speakers that we have in here. Volume is at 100%. We'll go ahead and play our favorite song, Alex Quindo Jumbo by NCS Release. So it seems like we're running with a single firing speaker, bottom firing at the bottom here. And of course, as you're holding it, it does actually kind of almost like reverberate, or basically kind of bounce off of our palm and making it even louder. It definitely gets loud enough for phone calls as well as video calls, or even listening to music on this, as it actually has a pretty strong speaker here. When we did hit 100%, let's go ahead and bring down the volume. I'll go ahead and bring it up all the way to 100% again. It did turn on something called ultra volume mode on, and that is by default once you hit 100% for the audio in here. It can't be a Realme device without having GT mode. So if we actually bring down the toggle here from the top, swiping it up, we definitely see that we actually have something called the GT mode. Now this is a gaming mode that Realme puts in to boost the performance of the actual device to give us the best experience possible. And of course the side launcher gives us the ability of customizing our experience, even looking and bringing up the system information here that provide us the ability of actually seeing our performance, meaning our games, our frame rate, and of course the experience that we're able to get out of the actual game. Overall, this system has been playing pretty decently. I was able to clock in a few games in here using Call of Duty and PUBG Mobile, which provided me a really good experience. Now, up to 144 Hertz refresh rate is going to depend on the game that you're using. Here on Call of Duty Mobile, as you're looking with some of the examples that I'm sharing with you guys, the performance was actually quite nice. The 7 Gen 4 is not a gaming processor. It's a mid-range processor, but it did perform quite nicely when comparing it to some of the other options available in the mid-range area, as the 15 Pro is really more of a mid-range device. Battery life on this device has been absolutely crazy. The fact that we have a 7,000 milliampere in here is not just fantastic, but also very nice in a small, thin, light device. What we're getting also here is a really nice camera stack. As we talked about at the beginning here, we have a triple 50 megapixel camera system, which means the experience should be mirrored across all three systems. You're able to change the different tone of the actual images if you want them to be more realistic or more boosted. That's something that you're also can customize within the camera, as you're seeing with some of those images that I'm sharing. I took it with me here, took it to the beach, and being able to experience the different levels of what the 15 Pro can offer us. At the end of the day, overall, the performance that you're going to get here essentially is generally a well-rounded device that provides you a mid-range experience, which for the most part is only noticeable when you're playing games and you're starting to push, let's say, content creation and producing content off of this device. There's a lot of built-in AI functionalities that I'm very happy to see that was brought in by Realme. AI functionalities where you're able to basically speak even the AI editing that you'd like to have the system do for you, as well as the standards editing tools that you typically get within the gallery application. Overall, pictures, videos, everything kind of came out pretty nicely. And again, depending on the style that you're choosing, you're going to be able to get a good experience there. So to summarize the experience, what you're getting here is a very well-rounded experience. Not only 4-curve display, 144 Hertz, 6.8-inch display, so it's a large display. You still have a little bit of that flat edge on the side to the actual device to get a really nice grip. You're also getting a very nice camera system that is mirrored across the front and on the back. And of course, the ability of actually getting a long battery life with that 7,000 milliampere. So I really feel like it's a very well-rounded device that will not disappoint. Unfortunately, I will probably say is in the US, we're not going to be able to get a faster connection than what we're getting right now. I'm not sure if this is going to be fixed with updates in the future, but at least if you're picking it up right now, just expect that it'll be basically at 4G LTE speeds. But it's just something to keep in mind when it comes down to the connectivity if you're considering bringing this device into the US. Thank you very much for the support. Like and subscribe as usual. I will see you in the next video.